I'm here today to announce the appointment of David Weiss as a special counsel, consistent with the Department of Justice regulations governing such matters.
Consistent with regulations regarding such matters. Let's pause on this for just a moment because this happened Friday. Now, let's pause on that. All right, we just paused on two things. Let's talk about the this happening on Friday part of it. Always remember something. When news drops is as important as the news that drops. So let's say you and I were enemies. All right, we hate each other. And you had damaging information on me. Jesse cheats on his taxes and does drugs or something like that. You have damaging information on me and you wanted to hurt me. You know, you would want to release that on a Monday or a Tuesday. Why? Everyone's just getting back to work, starting the work week. That's when you start consuming news. So if you were to, boom, Jesse has a cocaine problem or something. Everyone wakes up, gets to work on a Monday. Oh my gosh, they see the news, and then what happens? That's where news spreads among society. Hey man, did you hear? You're at the water cooler. Jesse got a little booger sugar problem. He's got a problem. That's when you'd release it. But if you had information and you liked me and you had damaging information that you had to release, you would release that information on Friday for the same reason. Because whatever you release on Friday gets lost into the ether over the weekend when everybody goes about their business. It's already forgotten. So this Hunter Biden special investigation stuff was leaked on Friday. Why was it leaked on Friday? Because they didn't want people talking about it. Now, the other thing we paused on, according to DOJ regulations, we had to do a special counsel. Why did they have to do a special counsel? They had to do a special counsel because a special counsel is supposed to be separate because there's a clear conflict of interest and they want to at least appear to be separate. That's why they did a special counsel, which brings up a really interesting point. The special counsel they named was David Weiss. Now, who was the DOJ guy who's been investigating Hunter Biden up to this point? Hang on, let me see. I think I have his name here somewhere. Oh, there it is. David Weiss. So, what happened there? Allow me to explain. David Weiss, he was not put there. He was not put there to investigate Hunter Biden initially. David Weiss is a Democrat. Yes, Trump nominated him, but it was two Democrat senators, Chris Coons and Tom Carper, who brought him up. Trump said, yeah, sure, nominated him. David Weiss is a communist hack. He was put in charge of the Hunter Biden investigation so he could run cover for Hunter Biden. Remember that Hunter Biden plea deal that blew up a couple weeks ago? You know the story behind that? Judge took a look at the plea deal and said, wait, what? What is this? Blanket immunity for even anything he does in the future? No, that's crazy. Well, who was it that put that ridiculously sweet deal in front of the judge? Let me see, what was his name? David Weiss. David Weiss has been put in charge of the Hunter Biden investigation to run cover for Hunter Biden. The investigation's going poorly, to put it mildly, and now David Weiss has been named the special counsel in the investigation. You know what that's equivalent to? That's like you getting out on the road right now on the highway and just driving 120 miles an hour. And then you see a cop behind you with the lights flashing and you slow down to the speed limit, 65, and the cop pulls you over and you say, what? I was driving the speed limit. That's what it is to appoint David Weiss as a special counsel after David Weiss has been running the investigation intentionally poorly for this entire time. And we won't even speak about the FBI involvement in all this. That's really the most horrific thing that people aren't talking about. How involved the FBI has been in running a protection racket for Joe Biden and going after Donald Trump. And you have idiots on TV like Dan Goldman out there saying things like this.
Now, in the ordinary course, you would not give immunity for other conduct than what is charged. But this is not the ordinary course, because you have a petty, vindictive bully running as for president on the Republican Party who will use revenge and weaponize the Department of Justice to potentially charge Hunter Biden. So even though I'm sure Hunter Biden has confidence that David Weiss will not charge him with additional crimes. They have no confidence that if Donald Trump wins, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice to charge Hunter Biden, go back and charge him. And that's why this plea agreement has broken down, because of the threat of Donald Trump's weaponization of the Department of Justice if he were to become president.
Yes, can you imagine if we had a president who would use the Department of Justice to go after, investigate, arrest, and indict his political opponents? Could you even imagine if we lived in a country like that? What kind of a banana republic would do such a thing? In fact, if Trump was a real tyrant, picture this. He would indict Biden not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. What a nutball. I bet he's just crazy enough to do that. Oh, that brings me to this. The Georgia indictment, this will be number 4 for Trump. It's here. All right, let's not do this thing. And you know I'm always cautious with this stuff because I never want to bring you anything bad. It leaked earlier today that the indictment in Georgia it came down for Trump. And then they retracted it. Hey, what? No, it didn't quite come down yet. All that was somebody jumping the gun. By the time we bring you I'm Right tomorrow night, it will be stamped, signed, sealed, delivered. Trump will have indictment number 4 coming on him. Now that brings me to me. Something I've been saying for a while, something I think you're seeing here. Because honestly, no matter what, even though it's David Weiss, even though it's his job to run cover for Hunter Biden, it is a big deal that there's currently a special counsel investigating the president's son. That's not a small thing. That's not something the system can even cover up. That's a big deal. So why would the system do something they can't cover up? Well, here's me. What you're going to see is leverage. It's what you're about to see. Joe Biden is about to be pushed out of the White House. He announced his intention to run again in order to get something out of the deal. The system is going to come to Joe Biden and they're going to tap him on the shoulder and they're going to say, Joe, we need you to go. Can't run. And Joe's going to say, well, I already announced I'm going to run. And the system's going to say, Joe, this Hunter Biden stuff, it all leads back to you. So they're going to tell Joe, you want this Hunter Biden stuff to go away. We'll give him a slap on the wrist, brush it aside. If you step aside, Joe Biden's going to do it. Just my theory. But it all seems to be stacking up. And let me just say as a quick programming note, I love that you love the show. It's wonderful that you love it. We love doing it. We love bringing it to you every night. But if that actually happens, if over the next few months Joe Biden says, I got a little cough, guys, I got to step down for health reasons, you might not want to watch I'm Right that night because I'm going to be obnoxious if it turns out that I was right about this whole thing. But look, even Democrats are starting to say it. You see Dean Phillips on TV?
Democrats are telling me that they want not a coronation, but they want a competition. The New York Times poll from this week shows 55% of Democratic voters want some alternatives to the current people in the primary. So my call is to those who are well-positioned, well-prepared, of good character and competency, they know who they are, to jump in, because Democrats and the country need competition. I don't think the president is corrupt. I think the investigation will show that. But, and this is the important part, it's the image. People want to turn the page. I think that's fair to say. As a Democrat, I adore Joe Biden. He saved this country. He can cement his legacy. My real call to action right now is not about me. The call to action is to ask the president to pass the torch.
Asking the president of your party to step down, it's not a small deal, especially if you're a Democrat. You don't do that without the system's approval. Just my theory. I have this pie in the sky theory, Lee, and I admit it's just a theory, that I believe the system is forcing the Bidens out. I've believed that for months now. I've been saying it on air. I think they want Gavin Newsom. I think Biden is too old, too stupid, brain too gone, too much baggage. And so he's not as useful as he used to be. And the only reason any of this stuff's getting any exposure at all is because the system's done with him. It's not because of Republicans. Am I crazy?
Well, that's not how I see it. You opened with that very interesting bit from the foreperson from the grand jury in Georgia, and I take that as evidence that the justice system, like most of the country, frankly, certainly the elites, have become pathologized. And if you look at the woman who is the jury person, she's clearly pathological. I believe that the ruling order now is pathological, and Joe Biden is a perfect representation of that. If you look at the different policies they've pushed, they have no reason to be concerned, but they love Joe Biden. He's opened the borders. He's pushed climate change agenda. He's gone after Donald Trump like a third world dictator. So again, I also see Joe Biden as an avatar for lots of stuff going on behind the scenes. And that's frankly the reason they pushed out Bernie in 2020. The problem is not policy. Joe Biden was not moderate compared to Bernie Sanders. The issue is that Bernie Sanders is still more than 50% present and cognitively aware. It's behind Joe Biden that a large network topped off by former president, the 44th president of the United States, Barack Obama, has been able to do a whole bunch of different things behind the scenes without ever having to take responsibility for it. And with Gavin Newsom, look, Gavin Newsom is certainly a progressive, but Gavin Newsom is also actually there. So they'd have to find some way to wrestle down Gavin Newsom and make him do things that, who knows, he might not want to do. But no, I am pretty positive that Joe Biden is going to be running in 2024. Jesse, I love your idea, because the way that I see your idea is it's saying that things are normal right now in our country, and Democratic Party bosses and others look around at Joe Biden, they go, this is incredible. We can't possibly run this guy again. This guy is, he's not only in cognitive decline, he's incontinent. He can't finish a sentence. He can barely walk straight. But that's not where we are right now. It's not a normal moment in American history or American politics. So I fully expect to see Joe Biden at the top of the ticket in 2024 as further evidence that the ruling party, that our ruling establishment, is pathological.
I have great news. If you enjoyed that, I have a YouTube channel you can subscribe to. Whatever I do, it'll be right there on YouTube. So go subscribe today.